Yeah, welcome back to the Weeb Warriors podcast. It's the 6th episode. I want to say it's the 6th. I really should keep track of this more.
Probably.
We're back with things to do, and it is slightly late, but that's because we had shit going on. Don't judge us.
Or
It's gonna
judges.
be.
I don't mind.
I mean, yeah,
The world's falling
if
to
you want to
pieces,
judge
guys.
us, go for it. I don't really give a shit, to be honest. We're gonna do the things to do in, and this time it's gonna be Akihabara, like we said last time. So, luckily for your faces, this is the day you'll hear about the legend of white glasses. Eventually.
I'm excited to hear this. I don't remember.
You don't remember the legend of white glasses? Oh my god. Alright, well, do we want to go into anything first? I think we're going to do a slightly different format. We're going to go through, because everything's pretty much in the same area, so we're going to go through all like the things to do in and then do the food and drink afterwards. Because they're all pretty much in the same area and there's a list of loads. So,
Well, I feel like Akihabara, for those that don't know, is known as like the anime otaku culture hotspot of Tokyo. So, a good place to start, I guess, will be with all that kind of thing. So, I don't know if one of you wants to kick it off with that, and I'll fill in any gaps.
sure. I'll start off with possibly the thing I've heard most about from this place anyway. There is a huge manga shop called Mandarake, which does like, I think it's just a huge like skyscraper building with a bunch of different floors and different manga in it. It's like one of the most popular ones I've ever heard of from Akihabara anyway. I think there's loads, but I
something
think
I've read about
that's a big one.
Yeah, it's massive, and it has like all sorts of manga, like really old stuff all the way up to like current stuff and like pre-owned things and stuff like that. It's the kind of place where like if you're a collector and you're looking for like rare stuff or like lesser seen kind of things, that's the place to go.
Special editions and things like that as well.
The floor for manga it's like a library for manga. It's crazy.
I read that because it is second-hand items, you're likely to find like rare stuff there as well.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of rare stuff, there's also, because it's not just manga in there, they do sell like collectibles and cards and stuff. And there's a Pokemon card shop in there that just sells bulk pre-owned cards. So like you don't know what you're getting, but it's super cheap and you could be getting like an absolute bargain. So if you're like a collector of Pokemon cards, like go there and just pick up like literally thousands of cards for cheap, and then you might get like a crazy deal out of it. You don't know, might get that elusive Holo Charizard.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing with that is that they don't, I believe from what I've heard, they don't just like specifically throw in shit cards. Like it's just a random collection of cards. So you're
getting a good deal.
Yeah, you could genuinely just spend like pennies and get like a really good card from it. So if you are a card collector, it's worth checking out.
Yep,
for sure.
Same with the figures as well. Like, if you're looking for like old figures, it's all like pre-owned stuff in there. But obviously, like if you're looking for the old stuff or harder to find stuff, that's the only way you're gonna get it. But definitely, if you're a collector, that's the place to go and check out.
Like things that don't sell anymore, like
yeah,
things that don't sell, and also things that the stuff that comes out in the arcade machines.
Oh
when they're gone, because that stuff's seasonal. Once that's out the machine, it's like, where do I get it? Well, you'll get it there.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're either a card fan, manga fan, pretty much just an anime fan in general, because it's pretty much everything there. Check that out. It's possibly the largest shop that I've heard of from that area.
Yeah, there's two as well. I can't remember where the second one is, but obviously one's in Akihabara, and we'll cover the other one, I'm sure, when we get to that place. But
yeah,
if you Google it, there are two. So if you can't find what you're looking for in Akihabara, go check the other one.
That Mandarake as well. It's often called the largest anime manga store in the world as well.
Yeah,
that's
that's why I thought to put it on the list, because it's the largest I've ever heard of. Like loads of people go on about it over there. They love it.
In the world, though.
Yeah.
In the world. I would hope the largest anime manga store in the world is in Tokyo, though.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was in like America.
Somewhere just really like just random. It's in Manchester. So yeah, check out that. Speaking of card shops and figure shops, to be fair, there's a whole street littered with these shops in Akihabara. One particular mention we saw, which this is specifically card shop, was Card Kingdom. It was this tiny little shop, but I believe it had more floors from what we didn't see. But even the ground floor had like all old Yu-Gi-Oh card packs, like the original starter decks for people, and individual cards, so they had like the individual god cards. And they had some like Pokemon cards there as well. I think they was the rare ones. Like they basically, the bottom floor is like the showcase. It's like, this is what you can get here. So they throw all the good cards on there and the good packs on there. And I think you can walk up and pretty much just pick whatever you want.
Yeah, I should have prepared better for this, because I actually have all the Egyptian god cards that I bought in that shop from like a previous year. I could have showed. That's annoying. But yeah, it's literally like they just have glass boxes full of cards, and then you get a piece of paper. Each card's got a number on it. You write the number of the card that you want and take that to till. And then they get like a key and they come out and open it, take your cards out and you buy them. And again, that's all pre-owned stuff, so they're cards that people have sold to them and then you're buying them, so you can't get an exchange on that or like a refund. Like they'll give you a little slip before you buy it and be like, just so you know, when you buy this, it's yours, you can't give it back, kind of thing. So just be sure of you're getting the right thing.
one.
So with Yu-Gi-Oh cards, there's so many different reprints and editions, like make sure you're getting the one you actually want, because you can't give it back or get a refund or whatever.
Yeah, the most common thing to check, I don't know if Pokemon has this sort of indicator somewhere, is they have like I don't know what it's actually called. I think it's a serial number, and it shows what pack it's from. I think it's just under the picture on the right hand side on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't know if Pokemon have it anywhere.
It's on
Google
Pokemon. It's
that.
a symbol.
Yeah,
but it's also in the bottom right.
If you Google it, it shows you what pack it's from. So that's a little hint for you there. But if you're watching this, you probably already know that anyway. But better safe than sorry.
Unless you're going, unless someone's asked you to pick them something up and you have no idea.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Figure shops. Ooh. I might be a little cheeky boy and get an example here.
Do it.
Be right back, James. Take
Visual
the floor a
aid.
second.
If you're listening on Spotify, sorry.
Wait, what's happening on Spotify?
Yeah, if you're a Spotify
Said if you're listening on
listener, I'm
Spotify,
sorry. You're not going to see this.
Oh, yeah, forgot. We're meant to be audio friendly.
I
forgot
about that as well.
Yeah,
But, if you want to see what I've got on my hand,
it's
go
incentive
and
to
check
check us
the
out on
YouTube
YouTube.
video out. It is a Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black figure, which I got from a shop called Akihabara. It is a huge mega store full of anime figures. There's bloody tons of them. There's floor after floor after floor. I think it's a bunch of individual shops just renting space basically. So it's worth checking every floor, because you'll get bargains on some floors. I believe, James, you got a Kimetsu no Yaiba series, and it was in every other shop, but there was one which in particular which was cheaper or cheapest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you
on
see a
the top
figure,
floor.
check the other stores before you go buy that one.
But I got this for the equivalent of £7. That's mad.
So good.
And that in
Bargain.
a UK shop like Forbidden Planet or Worlds Apart would probably be £20.
Yeah.
At least probably 25.
Yeah.
That
was bargain.
By the way, that whole thing about checking prices, that's just a general tip for Akihabara. The way I like to do it, I'm a huge collector. I don't know if that's on camera. You can see some on the shelf up there, but
for Spotify again. Sorry, guys.
It's a hobby of mine to collect figures, I would say. And for me, the way I like to do Akihabara is go early in the morning and then spend all day there. Basically, there's one main strip and it's littered with card shops and figure shops on both sides, all the way up and down. I like to go around the whole thing. If I see anything I'm interested in, I take a photo of it, so I've got the price underneath it, and then sort of about mid-afternoon you'll be done. You can get some lunch, consult your photos, pick out the cheapest version of whatever it is you want, and then go back around and buy them. That's
so make sure you remember which shop is in which photo.
Yeah, you might have to make notes if you're a bit of a dum-dum. But,
great, we've just insulted our audience.
Also, if you are a huge collector, some of the things to look out for. Where's my list? So, SH Figure Arts and Figure Art Zero by Tamashii Nations, both premium lines of figures. Tamashii Nations have a shop in Akihabara, their own shop. So if you're looking for like some of that stuff, you'll find it there. It's gonna be like, you won't get a deal on it because it's their shop. So it's like RRP prices, and they're expensive anyway. But if you're looking for like the harder to find Tamashii Nation stuff, then go and check that place out. There's also a Koto Bukiya shop. They do the Bishoujo lines for like Marvel and stuff, and also the Artifacts statues for like every anime you've ever heard of. Again, it's a premium line of figures, are expensive, but if that's what you're looking for, there's a shop there in Akihabara as well. And also the Banpresto Crane King figures, which are the figures you find in arcade machines. Pretty much every shop in Akihabara will sell some of them. So like, go around, check them out. But it's like, they also sell the current season's ones. So if you're staying in Tokyo or whatever, and you've gone to some arcades and you've seen some figures in a machine and you want it, but you're struggling to win it, or you're like, I don't want to spend my money on it, I'm not going to get it, go to Akihabara first, see if you can find the figure, because you more than likely will.
I think
and it'll probably be cheaper to just buy it outright.
I think this one is a Crane King, and I got it for £7, so the equivalent of £7.
You're more than likely going to spend more than £7 trying to win it. So
yeah.
Yeah,
And there's tons of them as well. As James just mentioned a few, there's also, I think, one called Soft Map Amusement, which looks like a really... It's not even just... I think that one in itself is like a legit shop. I think it sells like mostly Gundam, but I think they do other stuff as well. But the design and the theme of the shop looks really cool. So it's cool to even just check that place out, because I think they have like life-size... Well, not life-size, but, you know, human-scale Gundam models.
If you're into... the little capsule, I mean, it's a very Japanese thing, so you might not be if you're not from Japan, but little capsule toys you get out of the machines,
little twisty ones.
Yeah, there's at least one shop I remember. There's tons of them out on the street. They just lie on the streets, but there's a shop that is just full of them in Akihabara as well. So if you're into collecting them, they're obviously super cheap. Go in, throw a bunch of money in the machines, get a bunch of capsules.
Cool little souvenirs as well. Like it's
yeah, they're really cool too.
Really
I've got a
cheap.
bunch hanging on my bed frame, but again,
you
got
said
one
it was
right
literally
there.
just a room of just like those little machines that go right the way down and right the way across, and you can just you pick whichever one you want, obviously, and just put the money in. Because you'll find them dotted around streets, but there's specific ones. Like they're not always you're not always gonna have the same lineup of each one. So there's one.
And
the shop.
The shop that I'm thinking of, it's got like really old ones as well. I remember it had like Power Rangers last time I was in there, and the like Beetleborg and stuff like that, which is like super old from when I was a kid. But I guess they just keep like the vintage ones in there.
They probably buy
if you're a
them
collector,
off
that's probably
them.
a big deal. So
that shop probably buys those machines off whoever makes them when they're finished with the lifeline on the streets and stuff. Which is pretty cool. Gives a use after its intended use. Recycling. It's good.
There's no Max Factory shop, but if you're looking for Figma series figures, all the stores pretty much sell them. Like the one we've just been talking about with the like multiple floors, they have some Figma stuff in there. Again, it's expensive, but just keep an eye out and look for the best deal.
And again, that has card shops as well in it. There was a card shop, I think, on like the top floor. And there was, to be fair, there was even just like a generic sort of I don't know what you'd call it, but there was that like little shop where like Morgan got the lightsaber chopsticks.
Oh yeah, just like little hidden.
Yeah, like little
that,
just prop things and like little gadgets and gizmos and shit like that. It's pretty cool, that little shop. Oh, it's not little, like a huge shop.
Who's it and what's its glow?
I mean, technically the shop itself is little, but anyway.
Oh, also worth mentioning, a lot of these shops sell things that are outdated, like old stuff from the Pokemon centers. Like Pokemon Center has monthly Pikachus, and it has themed like Halloween collections and Christmas collections and stuff. If you're looking for an old one, it might be in a shop in Akihabara, like something that's outdated and is out of season. Because I remember they were selling some of the older Pikachus from like previous months and stuff like that. So
I remember seeing them actually, yeah, and some of the
worth checking for that stuff.
Even some of the current ones, to be fair. There was that Charizard you got last year in one of the shops.
Little Christmas one.
I think it was the same price though. Although there was one cheaper, but it was in a different sea.
I'm fairly sure that stuff is pre-owned or they've bought them and then they're reselling
Sold
them.
it
But
straight away. Yeah.
a lot of those places, like, I mean, a lot of those things, you're not gonna get it once it's out of season. So that's the best bet, pre-owned or not.
Well, you're not gonna get it for as cheap as that anyway, probably.
No,
So,
eBay
yeah.
markups are crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a really good place if you're into your cards, your figures, manga, all sorts of shit. But also,
Absolutely.
it's good for arcades. I believe
Hell yeah!
pretty much just down the road from said locations, there's a Taito arcade station and say a bunch of Sega arcades. I believe the massive one has now closed, but because of COVID,
One of.
fuck you, COVID.
They're all massive, to be fair.
But yeah,
one
they're
of them
all
has
huge.
closed.
Then there's literally tons. I was on Google Maps before, just trying to find
Mm.
names of everything. I saw about 50. Literally, there's loads of them.
On top of each other. Yeah.
I don't know what one's closed, but I know there was one that I'm a huge House of the Dead fan, and there was one of the Sega places had a floor that had every single House of the Dead in it.
Oh
And
my god.
I don't know if that's the one that's closed, but if it is, I will be absolutely
It was the
devastated.
one with the weird, like, you could see the staircase on the outside.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head though which one had
Which one had
the
the
House of
yeah.
Dead stuff in it. I'd have to go back and just look in the
See,
arcades,
yeah.
but
Why
no,
didn't
my
you
look,
go
it's
there?
that one.
Fuck you, COVID. Anyway. Yeah, so if you're into arcades, or if you fancy, rather than trying to buy the figures, if you want to try and win them, you can do. Or you can see how much it would cost you to try and win it and then make a decision based on that.
Yeah, it's honestly like, I don't know. I mean, we got real lucky last year. Morgan's the only one that won anything, and she won some Pringles.
Pringles.
But previous year to that, I won 2 figures. I only tried on one day, and I won 2 figures. I won 2 One Piece figures, and I only spent 25 quid, the equivalent of 25 quid, and I got 2 figures out of it, which is a pretty damn good deal.
Yeah,
I don't know if you always get that.
I don't know if we've said it in a previous episode that the arcade machines in Japan aren't like rigged. They're not like the UK ones. You can
Yeah, they
actually
are
win stuff
possible.
from them. Yeah.
And also, like, I mean, they work weirdly. If you go on Google the claw machines in Japan, you'll see what
They're
I
not
mean.
the
But
same style, yeah.
the way you sort of got to try and knock it off like 2 bars so that it falls down.
Yeah.
And I got mine when I was winning them ones. I got mine in a position where it was essentially impossible. And one of the like arcade attendants came round to me and she was like, "Do you want me to move it? Like, do you want me to reset it?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So she reset it in the middle, and then she was like, "Hit it here," and like she pointed at the point on the box. She was like, "Get it right there." So I did, and I won it, which was awesome.
And then
lovely
she asked
people.
if you wanted to use your remaining credits on a different machine, which you then went and won again.
Yeah, I had one more go. I had enough credits for one more go, and she was like, "Oh, I can put this on another machine if you want." So I was like, "Sure, I'll go with this one." I had my one go and won another figure, so I ended up with 2 figures.
If you're watching this and you're that woman, shout out to
Legend.
you. Yeah.
Shout out.
A real G.
Yeah, she's the real MVP.
Yeah. So yeah, arcades, figure shops, card shops. It's got a lot really. It also has. I don't know if anyone else would have try that again. I don't know if anyone else would have written this down, but I have, because sometimes this does interest me. It's got a bunch of like electronic shops, like cheap
I wrote it
electronic
down.
I wrote
type
it down,
things.
but I didn't. I'm not a big techie, so
Well, I
it's a
obviously
huge
am.
deal. It's also known as the Electric District, Akihabara.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the
that's
tech
what I
stuff
wrote,
is a
yeah.
huge deal. But I'll let Jake take the floor with that.
I mean, I just like looking at tech. So this is like, I mean, I don't think we didn't spend much time in Akihabara, unfortunately. So we didn't get to check, I think, any of these shops, but I saw a fair few, and it was just stuff from like, sort of like Japan specific brands for like laptops, phones, all sorts of like little gizmos and gadgets. You can get individual parts I've seen on videos. You can get like certain parts for mobiles. And there's this one guy on YouTube who kind of like, he builds his own iPhone, but he does it in China, but it's essentially the same thing. You can do it here as well. You can just buy all the individual parts and sort of like put it together yourself. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, if you like tech and you like building electronics, you can, go wild, essentially. Pretty cool.
It's like bargain prices as well. Like
Yeah. It's like,
in
it's
most
not
of those
like,
stores.
there is obviously the high end ones as well. Like there was an
Mm.
esports lounge we saw there on the way, which has like just the main brands like MSI and Nvidia and stuff like that. But there is also like, I think there's one called Onodin, and Radio Hut, I think, was another one. But it's pretty cool. I'm interested in that kind of thing. I'd love to have seen it, but I wouldn't know what I'm looking at because it's all Japan specific brands. I'm not
Next
queued
time.
up on it. Yeah, next time. Hopefully, not this year, but hopefully next year.
Yeah, Akihabara is my favorite place in Tokyo. I love it. So
Well, if it's your favorite place in Tokyo, it's your favorite place in the world.
yeah, it is. I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah. So, does anyone else have anything sort of on that same wavelength? I've got more, but it's slightly different.
One of the things that I just didn't mention when we were talking about the figures and that and the anime collectibles and stuff is there's also, and these are actually they're not. There's a lot. So I was gonna say they're hard to come by, but actually there is a lot of them. Cosplay shops. Although it mostly caters to females, it's mostly female costumes in there, which I guess, you know, if you're a female, happy days. But
It was
yeah, they
great.
have cosplay shops which are literally full of ready-made costumes you can just buy off the shelf, but they're good. They're not like shitty fancy dress costumes
It
you'd
is a
find
dream.
in this
And
country.
props and
And
wigs
wigs,
as well.
yeah, props and wigs. The wigs is the big one for me because they're already styled and you
Yeah.
can just buy it off the shelf. It's styled to certain characters from different anime. It'll literally like have the picture of the character and their name, so you could go in looking for a certain character and just come out with their
It
wig
is
already styled,
so
ready to
nice.
go.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
remember it wasn't in Akihabara, but it was a similar shop we saw. They have box ones as well. If you just want a wig and you want to style it yourself, you can do that.
Yep.
But if you're looking for a specific character, like I know we saw Roxas's hair, which is like to try and style that must be mental. But they had that like
Oh,
on
yeah.
a mannequin head already, ready to go straight away. You just buy it and walk out with it. So yeah, it is pretty cool that they style it for you as well. Interesting stuff that.
And
No,
also, just clothing stores in general, but anime clothing stores. So like you can get like, I don't know, shonen themed t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that, like Naruto ones and whatever you want. I got some Hatsune Miku t-shirts one year. A bunch of like Attack on Titan stuff. So yeah, it's quite basically if you're an otaku, then get yourself to
Akihabara's the place
Akihabara.
for you. Yeah.
Go.
You're gonna have a great little time.
I'm assuming you are an otaku because you're watching this or listening to this podcast.
Oh yeah, so to go in with the otaku thing, I looked up and there's actually an anime and game and adventure tour by a company called Magical Trip, and it takes half a day and they take you to all like hidden otaku spots.
Oh yeah, I
and
was
Maid
reading
Cafes
this
and
before.
stuff.
Yeah.
It looks really good, but they're always having like discounts and stuff, so it's worth keeping an eye out for that if you do go.
Yeah, that sounds like anything you'd be interested in.
Mhm.
Again, we should probably clarify this in every episode. You know, do your own research. We can only tell you as much as
Yeah.
like the date we film it. But yeah, that sounds like something you'd be interested in.
And it does take half a day as well, so like you could spend half a day doing that, and then for the rest of the day, if you like
Yeah.
somewhere on the tour, go back to it and look
Yeah.
around yourself.
Sweet. So I feel like that's already covered a whole segment of interests for people. Like you've got electronics, you've got cards, you've got figures, you've got arcades. Just in this one little road as well. This is all in like a little confined space. There is
Yeah,
obviously
it
more
ha-
on the outskirts, but there's like the main section is all combined in the middle.
Yeah, it's like one main strip, but it's worth mentioning when you're going down that there'll be like little alleys going off. There's also shops down them alleys as well, and
Yeah.
they're 100% worth checking out. Like I missed the first year I ever went, I missed so many stores because we just didn't go down those alleys. Like a lot of the clothing stores and stuff like that, because they're not as popular as the figure stores. They're not on the main strip, but they are down those little alleys. So like definitely go and check them out if you're looking for the capsules or the clothes and stuff like that. They're in those little alleyways.
That Card Kingdom was on. No, it was down an alley. And it's not even like it's like a rough alley either.
No, it just looks like it's like the back end of a
yeah,
shop.
It just looks
So
like
like you shouldn't be there, but they're actually shops.
Yeah.
So go and check them out.
Don't be afraid. People won't tell you no anyway. People are too nice.
Yep.
Even if you do go somewhere prohibited, people will just be like, I'm not gonna tell them.
I mean, you'll get away with it.
It's true.
I'm not saying we were on the wrong train, but like we got away with it.
We'll have to mention that
These
story when
these
we do
idiot
that.
tourists.
yeah. We'll have to mention that story when we come to do wherever that city was. I can't remember what city it was now.
It was on
Um,
our way to
Yeah,
Kyoto.
maybe in the Pokemon episode, you can mention that. Anyway, so I'm gonna slightly change the theme of it a little bit. If you're not really bothered by all that type of palaver, there is still stuff to do there. There's two huge and beautiful ass shrines. There's
Beautiful ass.
yeah, beautiful ass shrines, two asses. No, there's the Kanda Myojin Shrine and the Tokyo Daijingu Shrine.
Daijingu.
Hopefully, I've pronounced
Daijingu.
them correctly.
They look
Um,
gorgeous as well.
yeah, they look, especially the Kanda Myojin. It's got like a sakura tree in there, so if you go during blossom season, pictures sick. It looks
April.
amazing.
Absolutely.
First 2 weeks of April, if you're wondering when cherry blossom season is.
It looks incredible. It's like a proper authentic, exactly what you'd imagine shrine.
And I know Jake just said, if you're not interested in the anime stuff, there's also these shrines. But if you are interested in the anime stuff, the Kanda Myojin Shrine has been in a bunch of anime. It's pretty, like, it's like an anime. It's like an otaku hotspot for like, if you're an anime nerd and you're going to Japan, you want to go and get your photo taken at that shrine.
Yeah, I think it's because it is so like just, it's like exactly what you'd expect a shrine to look like from Japan. So it's probably used a lot because of how it looks. Obviously the Tokyo Daijingu Shrine as well looks nice, but the Kanda Myojin is like a whole little area where it's got like the main dojo or shrine and then like the side buildings, and then it's got like the sakura tree in the middle. Just looks amazing. I remember googling it and just going, "Oh, I'm so good. We didn't see that." It is slightly further away from that main strip, but
I tried to get
it's
you
worth
to spend more time in Akihabara.
I was down. We just didn't have enough time. There was so much shit we had to get through.
But
anyway.
yeah, so it is slightly further away from Akihabara, but
Still
so
walking distance.
there's Akihabara's main station, right? And then there's another station called Ochanomizu Station. Here's my top tip for you, as someone that has spent a lot of time in Akihabara. First of all, the Kanda Myojin Shrine is closer to Ochanomizu Station than it is to Akihabara Station. It's like 5 minutes walk away. But Ochanomizu Station is like maybe 5 minutes walk the other way to the center of Akihabara. It's a much quieter station. Akihabara Station is super busy. Ochanomizu, much quieter, easier to get through. And the walk down to Akihabara's main strip is literally like you walk under the railway bridge over a little like river. So you go over a bridge, and then literally on your right as you go down is that huge figure store that Jake was talking about earlier. And once you get to the bottom of that road, that's it, you're in Akihabara. So in my opinion, if you're traveling to Akihabara, just get off at Ochanomizu Station and walk in, because it's one, a nice walk, and two, is way quieter, way less hassle getting through the people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's still not that much of a huge issue with the people there, but if you can help it, it's worth it.
I mean, it's not, but for me, it's just like,
yeah, if you
nice.
can stay on for an extra 5 minutes and get through with no hassle, why not?
Yeah.
And again, it's a nice walk, so you get to see a little bit more of the city as well. Because if you get off at Akihabara Station, you're in the mix of it straight away. Like, you'll walk the strip, turn around, go back in the station, and go home. Like, at least if you get off at Ochanomizu, you can see a little bit more of the city.
The actual like, what's the commercial side of it more.
Yep.
So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I recommend both of those shrines, especially the Kanda Myojin. Looks incredible, especially if you're a photographer. Has anyone else got anything?
I've noted go-karting.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't write this
go-karting
down
through
because I didn't
Akihabara.
know enough about it. But
So one of the coolest things about it is you can dress up, so you can literal Mario Kart through Akihabara, which would be.
I think it's not just
insane.
Mario as well. You can do like a bunch
No,
of stuff.
yeah, any costumes.
We saw
It's-
a Goku. We
Yeah.
saw Sonic.
No,
So
do you take your
I'm
own
sure we
costumes,
saw-
or do they supply them? Do you know? Do we know?
I imagine they supply
I
them.
think. I mean, they definitely supply them. I think you can't take your own though.
Oh, cool. So worth it to see like the sights and stuff as well in a go-kart dressed as Mario. I mean,
Yeah.
it's well
So
worth it.
Have you got details of that, like prices?
No, just note down like the
Okay, it's
dress up and stuff.
7,000 yen for an hour, which sadly these days is about 50 quid. So that's quite a lot. Or it's 8,500 yen for 2 hours. So it actually works out cheaper if you do it for longer. But 2 hours is kind of a long time to drive around.
Yeah.
Say.
Yeah.
Because I think you can only drive around within a certain area as well. I don't think you can go too far.
Although you are on the actual roads of Akihabara, like in with the traffic and stuff. So that could be
Although
But
kind
you've
of
got
like,
someone with you, so it's not like you're just free reign. Like
yeah, you kind of in there's like it's kind of like a bike lane but for go-karts.
yeah. Apparently, so it's 7,000 yen for an hour if you require an English driver. If you've got driving experience in Japan or you are Japanese, then it's cheaper because they don't give you a guide, basically. But obviously, if you're English, you're gonna need a guide because you won't know where you're going and you need to be able to talk to someone. So
yeah,
50 quid an hour, basically.
but if you've got the money, it's well worth checking out because I feel like it'd be such a fun day out.
Yeah, it looked like we saw a bunch of tourists do it in other cities, and it looked like they were having a good time. So
yeah,
it'd be pretty funny if you went with a huge group and you all dressed up as Mario characters and got pictures and just driving around in go-karts. It'd be a pretty cool photo album. Yeah.
Another kind of like attraction thing I noted down as well is I didn't know this when we were there, but there's a VR ninja dojo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's new. That's why. I don't think that was there when we were
recently.
there.
So it's like you can learn ninja skills in real life and in VR, which sounds so cool.
Yeah, that did look sick. I was looking at that before.
Yeah, I remember Googling that, but again, I didn't have enough details, so I didn't write it down enough.
Yeah, well, it's brand new, as far as I'm aware. Yeah. There's also, though, there are some VR zones in the arcades that we were talking about earlier. So if you're into VR in general, they've actually got like big VR gaming zones. There's one game in Akihabara where it's a zombie survival shooter, and you can go in as a group. It's just a massive empty room. You go in with your headset on and a gun. Like 4 of you go into the room together, and then you just play a zombie survival shooter together in VR. It looks insane. I really want to have a go.
If you've seen videos of Japan arcades, you've probably seen something like it. It's literally just a huge dark room with like kind of like obstacles, but they're meant to simulate the buildings in the game.
Yeah. I mean, it all makes sense when you put the headset on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just a bunch of people just walking around. It looks mad from an outside perspective because you just see like 4 people walking around with a headset going with like this weird controller. But I imagine I haven't tried one, but I would love to do something like that. I think it would be sick.
You have to book it in advance. So if you're going, plan to go twice, and then on your first trip, book yourself in the VR thing so that you can do it next time you go.
Yeah.
Because it looks sick.
And there's a ton. It's not just the zombie survival one as well. If you're not into like motion and stuff,
that one's the big one.
Yeah, it's the huge one. There's another one as well. I think we've talked about in a previous episode, which is probably in a bunch of locations. It's like a horror one where you sit down with a headset on and you're meant to just sort of sit there with your hands on the table while I guess this demon girl just tries to scare you out.
Yep.
No, there's a bunch of different themed ones, but I'd love to try a bunch, to be honest. I'd love to try the zombie one. That'd be amazing.
Oh yeah, with a group of mates as well. It'd be cool.
It'd be funny. Staring at people scream.
You don't have to do it on your own either. I mean, you don't have to do it in a group. You can do it on your own. But it would obviously be better with people. And I think you can also do it with randoms if you want to group up, but you're on your own. You can do it with other people.
Yeah. If you are a tourist, that might be a bit of an F because it might just be
socialise.
Yeah.
Just scream Yamada and shoot stuff.
Not instead socialise and like killing zombies together.
Yeah, it's true. Become the best of friends after that. That pretty much covers my list of things to do in a nutshell. I've got a bunch of food and drink, but does anyone else have anything they want to add before we get on to that?
No.
I guess my other ones fall into food and drink. The only other thing I'll mention is if you are into Pokemon Go, Akihabara is a huge hotspot for Pogo. Lots of raid spots, and it's very, very busy. I remember I did a few raids there, and like it was always packed. When you actually get up to the point where the raid is, the street is just lined with people playing Pokemon. So
There was a bunch there when we were walking through, wasn't there? We just saw people standing
yeah.
on the edge of like streets and stuff playing it. Yeah, a lot of sponsored buildings and businesses have their stops.
Oh yeah, so
and
many.
gyms on there. So it's worth, if you're a Pogo fan, going there as well. I mean, that kind of covers most of Japan, but I think there's
Yeah,
some areas specifically
gotcha.
where it's just like,
Like
a sea of
7-Elevens and
blue
stuff,
stops, which is like a Pogo's dream. Okay, I'll lead us into the food and drink section. I'll start off with a sort of generic, broad spectrum of Maid Cafes. Now, we've talked about these in previous episodes, but this is like one of the prime spots for them. There's a bunch of different themed ones. Specifically the one we went to that we've talked about in the previous episode, At Home. Shout out to At Home, if you're watching. Sick little establishment. Again, not gonna cover it too much because we've already done that, but
not
if you're
that
not
little
interested
either, by the way.
yeah, there's like 4 floors to it, so it's like
yeah.
it's not little. I keep saying little, and things aren't. Yeah, there's a bunch. So I think it wasn't. I don't know if it's still. Wasn't there a Maid Dream one there?
Maid Dreamin', yeah. The two big ones are At Home and Maid Dreamin'. Maid Dreamin' is the biggest one, and there is like a million of them in Akihabara. They are all over the place. As you're walking up and down the strip, there'll be maids stood outside trying to finagle you inside. And they're probably from Maid Dreamin'. Maid Dreamin' is literally everywhere. It's got a banging theme song as well. that I'm not
Also,
singing.
to clarify, if you oh god, you've got to now. You've said it. You sung it a bunch over there, and it's on the vlogs. Come on.
No.
Odds
Go
on.
and check out our vlogs. Go and check out our vlogs. If you
Yeah,
wanna,
actually, yeah. Go on, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for
Do you wanna hear
Spotify
that theme
fans,
song?
but the links are in the description.
Song might
Also,
be
yeah,
on Spotify. Have a look.
I want to clarify, when you do get to Akihabara, and you get off the train, you will probably see a lot of maids. They're just going to work. So, if you're a tourist, as James said, going to get gifts for someone, and you get off and you see a bunch of maids, don't be confused. There's a bunch of maid
Totally
cafes there, and they're
normal.
going to work. Yeah, so maid cafes. There's another one quite close to Akihabara Station. There's not a maid cafe, it's a Gundam cafe.
Oh, wait,
looks-
hang on. Before we move off the maid cafes then, food and drink in there, typically,
Small.
it's like mediocre.
Yeah.
It's like snack food more than anything.
Yeah.
And also, most maid cafes, if you plan on going, it will either be an entry fee that you get charged or a minimum order fee. So like you have to order at least one thing every so often. It might be like every half an hour, every hour. If you don't order, you have to get out.
Isn't there a time charge in some places as well? However long you're there for.
Yeah, well, that's the minimum order thing. It's like you have to
okay.
order a drink every half an hour. It's like if you've been half an hour without ordering anything, it's either buy something or get out. So,
Yeah.
but that's just because they want to keep people moving. It's very busy.
Yeah, a lot of places in Japan are like that. They're all
If you're not,
they're all
not buying,
tall
then you ain't
buildings,
staying.
but they're all very popular. So yeah, if you're not giving them business, they kind of want you out, which is fair, I guess.
Yeah, it's valid.
Yep. Go on to that.
Yeah,
Gundam Cafe, because
yeah, it looks sick. It's Gundam themed, and it's obviously food and drink. I think again it is kind of like the cafe style, so I don't think the food and drink is. It was kind of like the Square Enix cafe, but Gundam.
Yep.
So if you're expecting a full-on meal there, it's not really the place for that. But if you're interested in and like Gundam, it's cool. It's
Yeah,
whole,
it's-
it's
Yeah,
like
the thing
all
I saw was,
futuristic
like-
themed. It is literally just down the road from Akihabara Station as well. I think you come out and you go right and just walk down. It's literally, you can still see the train on top of it as well. So it is literally that, like, it's not that far away from where you exit. It's cool.
basically themed food and drink. Themed interior as well.
Yeah.
Looks cool. And also, if you just want the food and drink, you don't plan on staying, they have a takeout bar around the side, so you can just order like a street level bar essentially. You just order your food there and take it away if you want to do it that way.
Although,
Um,
I don't know why you'd want to. It's like,
Well,
going inside would be
well.
a whole...
here's why you might not want to.
Go on.
If you are a Gundam fan and you're strapped for time in Akihabara, there is a better Gundam place in Odaiba. It's called Tokyo Gundam Front. We will discuss it when we do the Odaiba podcast. But I'm just letting you know now, if you are a Gundam fan, stay tuned for that podcast because I will mention that there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although if you've got time, definitely check out both. This looks awesome.
Oh yeah.
Again, not sure on prices. But I expect
assume
it
it's just
to
like
be
anywhere,
kind of
like
like,
any
yeah,
cafe.
I expect it to be kind of the same as what most of the themed cafes are like. So,
Yep.
in terms of the food, probably a bit overpriced, but the experience itself, it's probably about right.
Yeah, because you're paying for like the.
Yeah, you're not really paying
Yeah,
for
I
the
feel
food,
like-
you're kind of paying for the
The
experience.
food.
There.
The food in these places are always overpriced for what you actually get, but
You're kind of
It's-
going there for the experience, not the
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a cool, quirky sort of little thing. So
yeah.
if you're a fan of it, you're going to enjoy it. You're not really there for
Yeah.
a good meal. So
Yeah, if you are, you can just go. There is many other food and drink places that will give you like a full-on meal
Yeah.
around there anyway. So it's not
Yeah,
like
there's
you have to go there for food and drink.
there's a lot of like just generic food places, like your ramen bars.
There's ramen bars, there's Coco's, there's a whole bunch.
There's,
a whole bunch.
I can't remember the name of it now, but there's an American burger place. It's like a famous chain in America, but I forgot the name of it.
Was it?
But-
Was it? This might be just a normal like convenience. Or was it Lawson's?
No,
Mm.
because that is Japanese.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's not Five Guys, but it's like a Five Guys. It's one of them big chains in America. Yeah.
It's
It's on that main strip of Akihabara, but I can't remember the name of it. But if you're missing home and you just want a nice cheeseburger, that's there also.
I believe, but I believe there is. Granted, we didn't see any on that main strip, but I think there is just the normal like American brands like KFC and Mackey's and all that.
Yeah, I mean, there's Mackey's
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah,
You'll always get a Mackey's.
I miss.
and they're always
Japanese
like
Mackies.
they're always like the street bar ones, like James said before. So if you are strapped for time, you can just order it quickly and get off.
Yeah.
Although I
Go get your
believe
figures.
they kind of look down on eating and drinking on the go.
Yep.
So maybe don't
But-
do
Yeah, no, don't do that. I'm not going to condone it. I almost condoned it, but
that. Yeah, it's not. It's not.
be polite. Respect
Of course not.
other
Yeah, respect
people's
their
traditions
culture.
and cultures.
Don't be a Logan Paul. Anyway, another themed cafe for you now. Final Fantasy. I might pronounce this with an F here. Euros.
No.
Yorza.
Yoza.
Final Fantasy themed cafe. It's cool. Again, it's themed. Probably overpriced food and drink. Probably not a lot for the price.
You
of
know,
it,
actually, it's pretty good.
but- is it?
Yeah. You only get. I want to say you only get an hour in there, regardless of how much you're ordering, because it's super popular and super busy.
I can imagine.
But I got the Titan burger when I went, and it was bloody good burger. And they do Final Fantasy themed cocktails as well, because it's a bar also, like you can drink there. And it was like, the one I got was a mana potion. They do mana potions and health potions, and it was just, I don't even know what was in it, but it was some sort of blue alcoholic cocktail. And I got the
That's cool.
Titan burger. It was friggin' awesome, to be honest. That's probably one of
Did
the
you-
best themed.
Would
Restaurants I've
you
been to.
say you could feel your mana restoring after you had that?
Oh yeah, I'm a magical little boy.
Yeah, but did you go in with depleted mana and then you got it
Yeah,
and feel it?
absolutely. You know what? It took me forever to find it. This was the first year I ever went, and I didn't know
Yeah.
at the time. Here's a quick tip for you: if you haven't got mobile internet in Japan, first of all, I recommend getting it. Get it. But if you
Yeah.
if you haven't got it, Google Maps works without any mobile internet networking. GPS
Although-
is free in Japan.
Don't you have to download the maps before though? I don't think it constantly updates. I think you have to download the maps online first, and then you can use it offline.
No, mate, it works.
Oh,
You
The
should do
GPS,
that
it
here,
has a
so-
live GPS, like moves with you and everything. Because
sweet.
how I found out about it was I was trying to find the Final Fantasy cafe. We were booked in. We had the time slot, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And in the end, I opened my phone to like check, and my GPS was working. And I was like, "Are you shitting me? Have I been paying for data all this time?" And then I checked, and my data was off. And I was just like, it blew my mind. I was like, "How is my GPS working when my data's off?" And then I found out later that day, GPS is free in Japan. So even if you haven't got mobile internet, if you're lost, just get your Google Maps out. It works. Happy days. But yeah, Final Fantasy
Thanks,
Cafe
Japan.
is pretty sick.
Yeah,
it's
just
full.
sort of echo quickly on what you said before. It is slightly in a different location to the rest of the themed cafes. It's like sort of more south towards the bridge, I believe.
Yeah, and it's in another building and like upstairs. So, like when I was looking for it, I'd passed the building a few times, but just didn't know that was it. It was in there. Like it was hard to find, to be honest, but it was sick. It's got a bunch of PCs set up with I think it's Final Fantasy 14 is the online one.
Yeah.
But it's in Japanese, so if you're not Japanese, you probably I'm gonna have a hard time playing it. But it's there if you want to, and they've got all the weapons like on the walls, like life-size props of all the weapons to take photos of and stuff like that. It's sick.
Yeah, I saw bow and arrow stuck like on the wall, and a notable feature I wrote down, which I said make sure to mention, was if you get like a cocktail or a drink, you get a little sword in it. It's
Oh
cool.
yeah. Oh, do you know what?
Oh my god.
I've got it somewhere. I don't know where it is. That's annoying. I prepared really badly for this one. But yeah.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, and the burgers as well. The burger, like normally
Is-
you get like a giant
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
what's it
two
called?
hold it
toothpick
together.
thingies.
Yeah,
Skewer.
skewer.
Yeah, skewer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a sword in the burger.
Nice.
So cool.
I don't know if you're allowed to keep them, but I did. I slipped mine into my bag. I wasn't sure because it's metal. Like I wasn't sure if they were gonna like wash it and
Keep it,
reuse
yeah.
it. But I was like, I'm.
We
having
will
this
not be
sword.
held responsible for the actions of James.
Listen. I just want to clarify something. We don't condone it, but I'm not
Do
gonna
it.
say we. I'm not gonna say we didn't do it. I'm also not gonna say we did do it with some other places.
If a sword accidentally falls into your bag and you walk out, that's no one's to be blamed.
You can't be blamed for that.
If
Nothing
you knock
can
it
be
off the
done.
table with your elbow.
You don't know it's there.
Nothing can be done.
If you accidentally grab the sword and put it in your bag, how are you to know that's
you-
happened?
If you accidentally take a prop off the wall,
You've had the
Use
mana
it, man.
potion and you're out of your mind. You don't know what you're doing. You're not to blame. Don't worry about it.
We're not gonna say do it purposefully, but if it just happens to, become true, don't worry about it.
Dude.
Again, not gonna confirm or deny if we've done that, but
Look, you're only there once or multiple times in my.
YOLO.
you're only there once, except for when you go several other times afterwards. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. If it happens to slip, it happens to slip. Anyway, swiftly moving on before we get sued for stealing.
Arrested.
To sort of shadow, and that might be a pun, Morgan's Ninja VR experience before, there is a Ninja Cafe. I believe it's called Shinobazu Ninja Cafe. Which is pretty cool. It's like pretty much just ninja themed, but you can do like little activities while you're waiting for your food. Like they have shuriken darts that you can throw shuriken at like a bullseye, and all the staff sort of get in on it,
God.
and you can have like a
That's
little
so
tournament
cool.
with them. It looks sick. The whole theme of it as well is just awesome, and then obviously the little activities just add on to it. Again,
Do they have
probably
IRL Fruit Ninja?
don't know. I would say no.
They chuck fruit at you and you
I'll say
slice
no.
it.
I mean, if you
I,
ask them, they'd probably be too nice to say no. Probably look at you a bit weirdly, but
Hey, chuck an apple at me.
Hey, see that lime? Throw it.
I've not heard
Oh.
of this place.
You can dress up. They let you dress up and take pictures with the staff, as like with most Maid Cafes. They do that with the Ninja Cafe as well. I don't know if it might be new, because I feel like we would have seen it from where it looked like on Google Maps. So I feel like it might be new because it looks like it was on that like walk up to at home. So I don't know if it's new because I feel like we would have saw it.
Yeah, I've been to a Ninja Cafe somewhere else, but it wasn't that one.
It's cool. It is cool. You can get like the pictures with the staff. They're in full on ninja costumes, and obviously you can dress up in.
There's one There's one
a
I
slightly
went to-
shittier version, but
in Akihabara, but it was a Maid bar, but it was ninja themed. And when you said then it was the Maid Cafe, I thought that's what you were gonna mention, but it doesn't sound like the same place to me.
I don't think it is. It's not like a. I mean, it looks like it's very inspired by Maid Cafes, for the fact that you can like take pictures and they have like a photo album of all the staff in ninja costumes and stuff, and you can dress up and take pictures with them and do little activities like the shuriken darts. But I don't know if it is technically like classed as a Maid Cafe.
No, I mean, assuming that you've looked at it, you'd know, because the one I
Yeah.
went to was all females.
I think it might have been all females, but I think that was just there was only two on the video that I saw. There was only 2 staff members and they were both females. And I feel like they just try and push the females to be in all of their promo. I don't know.
Maybe. Did it look big or small?
The building itself,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell because it looked like there was separate areas. Like one area was just like a bench where you wait. I guess that's where you order your food from. And then there was like a little separate area where you do the shuriken darts, and then there's a little separate area where you do the photo area. It kind of looked about the same size as the at home floor we were on.
If you are a ninja fan, check out Ninja Akasaka, which is another ninja restaurant in Tokyo. It's not in Akihabara, but it's amazing. If you're into your ninjas, give it a goog.
Give it a bit of a gook. Yeah. Just to clarify, that cafe I said was the Shinobazu. I think I already said it, but to make sure I get it in again. That's it for me. Pretty much food and drink. Obviously, I said all the cocos and stuff for the if you want actual food and drink where it's not gonna cost loads and you do get an okay amount, but these are more experiences. Oh no, I do have 2 more actually. I do have 2 more.
Go on then.
Similar
Go.
to what we experienced in our vlog, link in the description. Sorry, Spotify fans. There is an owl cafe, kind of
Well, I
similar
was gonna
to
mention.
the Shiba Inu cafe, and I believe there's a hedgehog one also there, but it's just owls. I don't know if you
There
can
is.
hold them. If you
You
can,
can.
that's pretty cool.
Oh,
Come.
wow.
Nice. You can get them to sit on your shoulder as well and take a photo.
That's awesome.
I think, I might be wrong here, but I think it's the only, at least in Japan, it's the only owl cafe. I'm sure there's probably others in the world, but if you're in Japan, it's the only place you can go and sit down with an owl and handle the owl as
Hang
well.
on. Didn't that guy outside the Shiba Inu one in Harajuku have one?
But apparently,
Wasn't there was that one guy who was being a right little knobhead trying to take a photo with him, wasn't there?
apparently
Yeah,
this is the
owls on.
the only place you can handle the owls.
Oh,
So
handle
that
them,
one might just
okay.
be like you can go and sit and
Yeah.
read them or something.
That one might just be you can go and like sit inside and see them. That's cool though.
So yeah, it's
I
pretty
imagine-
famous.
I imagine it works the same as the Shiba Inu cafe where you're probably on a time slot.
Yeah, it's 2,000 yen for 1 hour, which is
Which
£15.
is nothing.
It's not bad, to be fair.
No, I'm not. I assume you got to pay for food and drink on top of that, but
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head. I would imagine so. It's probably 2,000 to
again-
get in.
Again, you're paying for the experience of being able to like
Yeah.
hold an owl, basically. And just to
And that
clarify,
sandwich.
when we say it's probably the same as the Shiba Inu cafe, it comes with like a set of rules. Like you probably book in with a time slot. You get there at the time slot, they take you to the side, go through all like the rules, what you can and can't do. Obviously,
Yeah.
like make loud noises, try and pet the owls, probably things like that. And then get photos, and then after your hour's gone, piss off. Well, that'd
Yeah.
be sick. Being able, like, I'd love that. That'd be
I love
right
owls.
profile
That's so sweet.
material there. Just having an owl on my shoulder.
Unless it poos on you.
Yeah, that might be a bit of an F.
Yeah, be prepared for that if you do go. Just
Yeah.
I guess
Be
James
aware.
might know a little bit more about that than I do after his experience in Harajuku, but
Look, sometimes a bird's got to poo. You know? Sometimes a sword slips in your bag, sometimes a bird's got to poo. These things happen.
Sometimes
it
it
is what it
just
is.
happens to land on you.
Yep.
You can't control that.
And also, as Jake mentioned very briefly, there is also a hedgehog cafe, which is the same deal, but with hedgehogs.
But I think that's in Harajuku.
No, there's one in Akihabara.
Oh, is there? Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Then yeah, check that out as well if you're interested in hedgehogs.
animals.
If you like animals, get to them cafes.
Mhm.
Go and eat.
Not the animals. Don't eat the
No,
animals.
don't eat animals. Well,
Don't eat
Shot
the
on by a
animals.
bird.
you can eat some animals, like
You can eat
cows and stuff.
You can eat some animals, but don't eat their animals.
Yeah, you can eat not in Akihabara, but there is a sushi restaurant where you fish your own fish and then eat it.
Isn't there? Don't they have like a? I don't know if it would specifically be a lobster place, but don't they have a place where they serve seafood where you can pick your lobster? I know that's
just being a tank,
common in a lot of places, especially in America.
But there is, again, off the top of my head, I don't know the name of it, but there is a place in Tokyo where there's literally just like a big pool of fish, and you literally get like a fishing rod, you fish out a fish, and the one you catch, that's your fish, and then the chef will cook it and you eat it.
I feel so sad.
That
I
is
want to keep
slightly
it as a pet.
morbid. That is slightly morbid.
I mean, but you're eating a dead fish anyway if you just went and
know.
got fish. The only difference is you caught it, so like...
Yeah, but I've then sentenced that fish to death.
Well, I mean, we're getting off topic now, but there's an argument that your consumerism of buying fish sentenced all of the fish to death.
There definitely is. But when you remove the middleman, it's like it feels a bit weird. I'd still do it, but it's slightly morbid. Anyway, we'll swear that controversial topic and move swiftly on to my last food place, which is the Grand Pirate Cafe. Now, again, you can probably tell it's pirate themed.
No, was that the call of Captain Morgan I just heard?
Yeah,
Animal
so
Chronicles.
I believe this is more of a bar than a cafe, but I believe they just call it a cafe.
Dude, I need to see, because this might be the pirate.
I think it might be. That's why I'm saying I think it might be more of a bar than a cafe.
What was it called? I'll Google it while you're talking.
Grand Pirate Cafe. But yeah, essentially it's just another themed, like the ninja cafe, like the ninja one, but it's just pirate themed. All the staff are in pirate uniforms. I think you get like the whole like tankards and stuff like that, and there's
You might be able to find a fish steak.
Yeah, you might be able to order a fish steak.
Oh, dude. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's, again, if you're interested in pirates, check it out. I don't know if there's any activities you can do there, like the shuriken darts for the ninja one, but I think you can
Pirates.
get. I think you can get pretty big like tankards of ale. Yeah.
Like a
'Cause
stein.
I think it's like I think it's meant to be like pirate themed, so it's like they obviously give you a large amount of alcohol in like a big I guess just tankard, yeah. I can't think of a better name for it. But yeah, it's is it the same one? Can you confirm?
I think it is it. There's very little photos of the inside of it, but I think it is it. I'm looking at like the drinks, and the drink is the same, like the barrel that it comes in.
Yeah.
If it is, though, this place is where I met white glasses.
Which will very nicely transition us
Bring us onto
onto
the
the
story.
legend of white glasses. You've waited, what is it now? Nearly an hour for this story. Strap in, ladies and gentlemen.
How disappointed you're gonna be. So,
get ready for this thrilling adventure.
In Akihabara, over night time, when it's stuff starting to die down, like the say goodbye and stuff like that. What there is, oh, you know what? I didn't put on the list, but we should mention the streetcars and stuff. We'll get onto that after the story. Overnight in Akihabara, the maid cafes, they close. The maids go home. They've got lives. But the maid bars, they stay open. They stay open late, right? And you can go and you can drink. And a maid bar is the exact same concept as a maid cafe. It's just that it's open late and they serve alcohol. So you can imagine a mix of alcohol and maid cafe makes for interesting scenarios. And there is a whole bunch of maid bars in Akihabara, like all different themes. The ninja one I mentioned before, the pirate one that Jake just mentioned. There's tons. There was the one that was like a karaoke one, and like you could pick your favorite maid, and you could pick a song, and she would go and perform it for you, and they danced and everything. It's like it was a full-on performance.
Can't you choose to sing it with them as well?
I don't know. I think
didn't we see a guy do it though?
Yeah.
Didn't he go up on stage and start singing with
Well,
them?
one of the ones I went to, with the unmentionable Cairns, there was a competition. Like, they played a game with everyone in there, and if you won, the prize was to go on stage and sing with them.
Oh boy.
He came second. I was gutted.
Oh,
If he'd have won, what a moment that would have been.
what scenes that would have been.
But yeah. So yeah, it makes some mad stuff though, honestly, because you see like drunk Japanese guys going mental for these women, like on the floor on their knees, like bowing to them and stuff. It's crazy.
God.
But one of these places, which is the pirate place that Jake mentioned, was, I don't know why, it turned into one of like my favorite places to go and drink. We used to go there like every night. We'd get the train to Ochanomizu and walk down and just go in there for like a drink. They all dressed as pirates in there, and there was one maid called Tifa who spoke English, which was part of the reason why I liked it. It was because there was someone to talk to. Like most of these maid bars, the maids only speak Japanese, and they're all like off like side alleys, because it's not a maid cafe. It's not like one of the big popular ones. So they're not used to tourists coming in, so they don't specifically hire staff that can speak English. So it's kind of harder to like experience the full ordeal, because like no one can speak to you. But in this one, they had a maid called Tifa, who could
Shout out
speak
to
English.
Tifa. You watching this?
Legend. And so we were in there, and it was like a big like one long seating area across like a bar. So we went like sat on a table. We were sat with other people. They were all Japanese guys going mental, doing the whole mental, I've had a drink and there's maids in here. It's an amazing thing. You can like order food and pick a maid, and she has to come and eat it with you. And honestly, we spent like a good 2 hours in there just drinking, but watching, like just people watching. And like so many of the maids would have like, a guy would come in, buy a meal, eat it with the maid, and then like leave, and another guy will come in and pick the same maid and order a meal, and she'd have to eat that with him. And there was like so many maids just eating multiple meals, and I felt so sorry for them. But there was like 3 guys to my left, and they were in there all night with us. Like we'd been drinking all night, and the whole time I was talking like to Tom about them, just being like, look at this guy, like he's on like his second meal with this maid and all this, right? Because they were Japanese, and as far as I knew, they couldn't understand what we were saying.
They couldn't understand what you were saying.
No.
Yeah.
At no point did they look at us or let on or speak to us. They were just talking Japanese to the maids. Tifa was talking English to us. So as far as I knew, they couldn't understand us. Then there was one moment, like Tifa came over, she was talking to us, and I had a Sasuke phone case at the time, so which she noticed, and we started talking about Naruto, and we were talking about something to do with Naruto, and she couldn't understand what I was saying because her English wasn't like perfect enough. She couldn't understand what I was saying. And then this guy, one of the guys to the left of me, suddenly just turns and says something to her in Japanese, and then she looks at me and she's like, oh, I understand now what you're saying. And then I was like, wait, can this guy speak English? And she was like, yes, yeah, he can speak English. So then he looks at me, and I'm like, all right. And he's like, all right. And then like we had this little exchange.
It's like the most British reaction ever. All right.
Of like, and he was Japanese, by the way. We had this little like exchange of like, he was like, where are you guys from? Blah, blah, blah. And then this whole time in my head, I'm thinking, Christ, I've been talking about them all night, and he's heard all of it and said nothing. And I was like, so like, your English is good. Like, I'm surprised. And he was like, oh yeah, I teach English. As like in I don't know if it was in America or somewhere, but he was back in Japan. For whatever reason, like his teaching had finished, but he taught English, so that's why his English was so good. And I was like, so what's your name? And he was like, White Glasses. I was like, your name's White Glasses? And he's like, yeah, then they call me White Glasses in here. And then I realized for the rest of the night, everyone was actually calling him White Glasses, like the maids and everything, everyone called him White Glasses. And the mad thing about White Glasses was he was wearing black glasses.
Oh, I was going to say, hold your breath for this moment.
Yeah, this is the big reveal, right? He was wearing black glasses. And so this guy, I'm like, what's your name? He's like, my name's White Glasses. By the way, we've been here for like 3 hours drinking. So imagine being 3 hours in drinking beer. You meet this Japanese
People
guy called
watching.
White Glasses, and he's got black
Who
glasses.
speaks English?
Yeah, and he speaks perfect
and you've been
English.
slating his group the entire night as well,
Yeah,
not knowing
And then-
he can understand you this entire time.
he's here with his black glasses, right? Which to me, first of all, I think it was cool anyway that his name's White Glasses. It was like he was some sort of anime character. Like everyone knew him as White Glasses.
But it's like a pirate name as well.
Yeah.
And then, so obviously, naturally, I'm like, why do they call you White Glasses? Because he's wearing black glasses. And he goes, well, that's because I always wear white glasses. So now I'm even more perplexed because he's wearing black glasses. So I'm like, okay, but you're wearing black glasses now. What's that about? And then he goes, oh yeah, I got in a fight this morning and somebody broke my white glasses. So these are my second glasses.
You'd think someone who's so renowned enough to be called White Glasses would have a
Would have a
spare set
supply,
of
yeah.
white glasses.
And that's pretty much my story of the legend known as White Glasses. We did stay for a while longer and talk, and he was pretty awesome. And he gave us like a bunch of tips of like things to go and check out and do while we were in Japan. It was cool to find like a Japanese native that spoke perfect English and could actually like give us tips and recommendations and stuff. And we went back the year after to the same pirate place. Tifa was still there. White Glasses, unfortunately, was not there, but I asked her, I was like, have you seen White Glasses recently? And she knew exactly what I was talking about, and she was like, oh, he was in yesterday? And I was like, no, I missed him. And, but yeah, so if you ever go, what was it called? The Grand Pirate Cafe?
Grand Pirate Cafe, yeah.
Yeah, look for a guy in white glasses, or just ask about white glasses.
Or
They're a
black
legend.
glasses.
And if you do,
Just in case it's
and you
wrong.
hear something, slap it in the comments and tell
Yeah.
We
him.
need to
He won't know that- he
reconnect
won't
with
know
this
who the
guy and have
hell-
him on the podcast.
Yeah, you won't know who the hell we are, but tell him FishStakes says, or the Weeb Warriors say hi.
Internet, do your thing.
Yeah.
Find
Yeah,
us this guy and get him on the
dude,
podcast.
I would love
Now-
to find him again.
Now, James said you're going to be so disappointed, but quite frankly, if you're disappointed by that story, you're insane. Right? You're insane. How is that not an entertaining story? James has been slating off this guy's group for an entire 3 hours, not knowing he understands English.
Which, by the way, he never mentioned once.
Yeah.
He was never like, yeah, so
Well,
I've been
it's-
listening to you this whole time.
It's because he's too nice. He's too nice to say anything. That's why. They're all too nice to say something.
In his head, he was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, he's just like, first he slates my group, now he's asking why I've got black glasses on. Can you not just leave it?
How
And
dare
maybe it's a sensitive subject. Mad
But
story.
Shout out to White Glasses, what a guy.
Yeah, shout out to White Glasses. Biggest of shout outs to White Glasses. Anyway, I think the last thing we can discuss, because we are reaching the end, or what we should make the end, is the streetcars you mentioned.
Oh yeah, so
Because I
If
forgot
you
about
are-
this as well.
if you're into like Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious stuff,
Cars.
specifically Tokyo Drift, yeah. All that stuff is real and exists. And if you go to Akihabara late at night, you'll see them. That's like the place where they go to just like show off their car. So like the later you are there, the more of them will show up, and you can just literally walk the streets and check them out, and they're friggin' awesome. Like
Yeah, they're like
so
proper
cool to see.
souped up
Super
sports
cars.
cars with like
Yeah.
anime decals and like underglows and everything, and like just so many modifications to them that it just looks like as James said, something out of like Fast and Furious and like Tokyo Drift and stuff like that. It's mad. We saw one, but it was because we were there quite early, and it was a Hatsune Miku themed car. And I think it had like the black and blue theme. It had Hatsune Miku on the hood, and it had like a blue underglow. And I was like, oh, mad. If we'd have been able to have stayed there a few more hours, I would have loved to have seen what sort of contraptions would have rolled up. But unfortunately, we had to go. We were stripped on
next
time.
next time we go, I will make sure that we go late. We have a few drinks in the pirate place. We wait for White Glasses to show up, and then we'll go and check out the cars. After.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine that as a vlog. As we get a vlog, we get a picture at White Glasses, and then we go and see the.
Imagine it turns out White Glasses
Amazing.
owns one of the cars.
That'd be. I mean, personally, I haven't even met this guy.
In my head
Personally,
canon,
I didn't think.
he owns one.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say that would make him even more impressive, I don't even know this guy. I've never met him, but he's
And it's a black
he's
car.
like a god, and like having that type of car, a level above God. Anyway,
It's a black car that he has because he broke his white one.
In a fight. He got in a fight and they broke his
got in a
white
crash and he broke his black car. Just got out and went off. For fuck's sake!
one. What a guy.
Oh, mad. But yeah, I think that will wrap us up nicely. I think we got a whole bunch of stuff in there, so we got a little bit of everything for everyone. We don't know what city we're gonna do next. Probably just whichever's closest to Akihabara that we think we can fill an hour with. So stay tuned next month for that episode. And with that, I think we should end. So do the usual, leave a comment, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications.
Or slap the
Share
bell.
the video with your
Whatever.
friends.
Slap the bell, and if you're on Spotify, make sure to give the playlist a follow.
Yeah, and a rate as well. We can.
Oh yeah.
Whatever platform you're listening on, either rate or subscribe if you're joining us on YouTube. And thank you for watching.
Thank you.
See you next time. Janet.
I've done it.
Bye.
If you accidentally grab the sword and put it in your bag, how are you to know that's happened?